Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get back up on my feet.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the podcast to listen to, the Bulletcast. I am your host, the microphone beside Phillip Brandon, joined by the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means. We record on one of these days, mainly this day, release on this day sometimes. What's going on, man?
What is up, everyone? The penultimate episode of the Bulletcast before WrestleMania 41.
Absolutely, yes, the penultimate before the granddaddy of them all. Let's get into it. Cena's advertised for the next week's SmackDown. Yeah, the last SmackDown before WrestleMania. He wasn't before, now he is. There we go. He's going to be at the Go Home show.
Yeah, we talked about it, like, we're going to get one more maybe on Raw because it's been primarily a Raw-based feud. But, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's the day before WrestleMania, so are we going to get another one of those kind of back-and-forth promos? Is it going to be like Cody or Cena's in the ring for a little bit, then Cody interferes? I don't know, but I am glad that we're going to get at least something. And maybe we finally get The Rock to appear and plug up some of these loopholes that we have in this storyline, but I am once again not very confident in that.
You'll see the final boss when it's time to see the final boss. All right.
And that's how the entire WWE creative team sees it as well.
When it's time to see the final boss, you'll see the final boss. Okay? Cody could be about to win at Mania, and then you hear the, if you smell, and then, oh my God, he's here. Yeah. WWE, we got the Legacy Wing. We got the Legacy Wing inductees, and Dory Funk Sr., am I right?
Yep, and Kamala and Ivan Koloff.
Yes, Ivan Koloff finally going in. Shout out Kumala. If I were to buy two big bodies, I'd call him Kumala and Dumaga Hula. You're talking to the bad guy. Sorry, that's a Wale bar. Kamala, congratulations. The Ugandan giant, well deserved.
Yeah, obviously all three of these guys have a legacy in wrestling. And, if this was a real Hall of Fame, he probably would put them in there. And, I believe all three of these men have passed. So this is kind of like the legacy wing is like people who kind of definitely deserve to be in there, but they passed on. So they can't actually physically be at the Hall of Fame. So we put them there. And, so, I mean, I have no issues with these guys, but hopefully they do some sort of video package to give you like at least a little taste, especially like, Dory Funk Sr. I think not a lot of people might know how big he was, like, down in Texas, down in that South area.
Oh, come on now. Swerve versus Booker T. Brother, did you talk about this after
I did not talk about this because when I recorded, I pretty much recorded right after the show, and I wasn't on social media, so I didn't know we had a new chapter to the Swerve Booker T saga. It's been bubbling for quite some time now, but it's come ahead here on after Dynasty, and also the crowd got involved in NXT because they like to do the little Booker T, we coming for you, insert name chant, which a little cringy, but it's okay.
Yeah, man. Talk about your boy Swerve.
So like I said, it's been bubbling for some time. For a long time we've talked about this on this podcast where AEW hasn't been pushing black talent, but now it feels as though the story has flipped to the opposite end, to where AEW has plenty of black wrestlers on their shows, while WWE has not been having any black men, at least, on their pay-per-views. And so Swerve was on a podcast like last week or 2 weeks ago, talked about how his experience was in the Performance Center in NXT, and he said that maybe Booker T could have looked out for him a little bit more and everything. He commented on that stuff, and then Booker T then responds and says, don't come after me, you don't know my story and what I got to deal with, and everything like that. And then after Dynasty, Swerve cut a little promo after his loss and basically said, I know it says no profanity on that script right there, mainly because I used to be when we were on the radio.
We said we're not anymore.
Well, I'm not in talks with I'm not on the business end. I'm just a talent, and that's using the word talent very loosely. He said, "Fuck Booker T."
Yeah,
That is
we
Swerve. That said that.
gotta bleep that out. Oh man.
Yep.
Um, yeah, man. I don't know, man. Mm, mm. Booker T responded on his show. You know, go listen to the Hall of Fame. Didn't talk shit. Booker T kept it classy, man. You know, Booker T went from ashy to classy. Hello, shout out Biggie Smalls. Uh, he said, you know, it wasn't a good look, and like you got people talking about him instead of the pay per view that you guys just had. The last thing people are going to think about is Booker T, and then instead of the great pay per view that you all just had.
Well, I wouldn't call it a great pay per view. If you want to go
Well,
listen Under the Radar, episode
I
100.
mean, you know, a a decent show, we could say.
It was adequate,
Yeah,
long as all hell, but
but the point is you're thinking about a legend that works for another company and not the people that work for your company that just went out there and did the damn thing.
yeah, that I agree with. I feel as though you shouldn't be giving any air to Booker T, not because he doesn't deserve it. He's not like a great talent or anything like that, but just like you said, he's in a different company. He has nothing to do with what you're doing in AEW. If you want to air your grievances on social media and on podcasts, I still feel that's dumb, but I just don't feel, even if it's off the air, in your AEW ring is the place to be saying that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's just Tony Khan lets these people do whatever they want, man. I don't know, but Swerve, you know, I've met him once. It was brief, chill cat. Yeah. All this came because what the Vlad TV interview.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess Vlad has a reputation of like putting people against each other. So you know, if this was the goal, then Vlad succeeded. Um, yeah, I mean Vlad TV. These interviews have been around for God knows how long. You know, he pays people to go on the show, which is kind of the interesting thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's
Philip,
not.
any comment on the lack of black men on WWE pay-per-views? Since we talked about it on the AEW side.
Cody's black, so
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just
I
playing.
mean, he did solve
Um,
racism, so
yeah,
it's okay.
exactly. He ended it. I mean, he's in those photos with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. He was on the bus with Rosa, dude. Like, come on. No, but in all seriousness, yeah. I mean, who's at not even I wouldn't even say at the top of the card. You know, they have other storylines going on to where black talent could be featured. I mean, the new day. I'm surprised they haven't really hit a pay per view given uh their run that they've been on right now. I think but the only black male talent that you really see on PLEs is what Big E because he's an analyst if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Uh
and we just use the caveat men because Bianca Belair, and that's pretty much it. And
yeah.
Naomi.
Oh, I mean, well, if you look at it, I mean, going into WrestleMania, Bianca, Naomi, and Jay, they all have big things popping. I assume either the New Day or the Street Profits, they'll be featured at WrestleMania in some way.
I did see a report that the Street Profits are going to have their tag title match on SmackDown, not at WrestleMania. So
So WrestleMania
there's that.
SmackDown.
Same thing. It's night 3 of WrestleMania. It's like the WrestleMania pre-show, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the creative in WWE because I'm not there. You have to look like who's who's there to be featured like that. Like I said, the tag guys. I mean,
Yeah, and that's what Booker T was saying, and that's what I was saying back in the AEW days. Is like you can't just force someone in the main event just because of, you know, what they look like. And
yeah.
you look at the NXT roster, there's plenty of black wrestlers down there that they can plug in and they can probably do something. Now, a lot of, Carmelo Hayes is someone who we thought could be something, and for whatever reason, he just hasn't, hit that next level or been pushed
I
at that
mean,
level.
given what's going on with Randy Orton, maybe Carmelo gets a spot. Yeah. But I mean, if you look at actually the NXT side, I mean that NXT is the blackest show on television, regardless of sports entertainment or any other form of programming. I mean, look at all the people that are being featured down there. Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, I mean, Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick, Ricky Saints. The list can go on. If the Lash legend Jakar Jackson, list can go on and on and on and on, but you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Yeah, you can't just force people in the main event like you said, or just force them to be on TV in general. It has to be time. It has to call for it. And I mean, we've had black talent in the main event. Which, speaking of Kofi, you saw he posted the photo of him winning the title and blurred out Biggie.
What, Biggie was there? I thought it was just him and Xavier.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, Kofi had his moment. Obviously, Bobby Lashley had his moment to shine twice with the WWE Championship and just things like that. So yeah, I don't know. When it's time, somebody of color to represent the African American community will be up. Rusev back in WWE? Question mark.
Yeah, last week he was, I guess, spotted at the WWE headquarters. This is in line with a lot of rumor and innuendo, and obviously, the line of the Rey Phoenixes, the Pentas, the Ricky Saints, all those ex AEW people jumping over to WWE, and Rusev Miro seems as though he's going to be the next one. No word if Lana would be attached to the act or not, but it does feel as though Rusev coming to WWE is a foregone conclusion. He is advertised for a show in Vegas, so probably not pre-WrestleMania, but would not be shocked if he's a post-WrestleMania return. And it would help if Philip unmuted his microphone, because that's usually my gimmick, but I guess Philip's doing that this week.
I am so sorry. Just announced Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for WrestleMania is official. They were concerned because of the glass that got in Drew's eye, given that choke slam that he suffered. But yeah,
real glass.
Yeah, cry him a river. Well, there you go. That's nice.
1 year ago since they released the footage today.
They did do that, didn't they?
Yep, and everyone's like, that was it. That just made Jack Perry look like a punk.
That's right. And then CM Punk was on Ariel Helwani?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Because it was the week before WrestleMania, the week of WrestleMania. Yep. He's like, hey, I could have killed him, but I just choked him a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah, he did. He just choked him a little bit. That was all.
Yeah. Shout out Jerry Lynn and Samoa Joe saving that All-In match, which was a very good match for CM Punk's last AEW match.
Yeah, I mean that was the standard bearer. Hello. All right. Well, let's get into SmackDown. Or do we have any fan mail? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Go to these chats here. Let's see what we got. Oh. Okay.
Copenhagen Smith.
Yes. No.
No, damn.
No Copenhagen Smith. No Copenhagen Smith. He sent Mr. X sent these a while ago. Oh Jesus. Was it me or should Jay have shown more emotion watching Gunther beat or watching his brother get beat down by Gunther? No, I mean I think he showed enough. What exactly do we think the favor is that CM Punk wants from the Wise Man? We're going to talk about that. Will they keep Penta and Rey Fenix separate or eventually just make them a permanent tag team? We'll talk about that in a second. And then this was yesterday. He says, is the tension between Tiffany and Charlotte is anything to go by in their promos? Could we expect any kind of craziness in their match at WrestleMania? Okay, all right. Let's get into it. Let's get into all of that. Yeah. So, SmackDown. They're in Chicago. Punk comes out there, talks to the city, talks to the people. Wise Man comes out there. Punk wants to know, well, is he here? And Wise Man says, nobody. Like, can you just let me know what the favor is? I'm like, no, you got to wait. And then we fast forward. Roman Reigns, he goes out there, no big pyro, no pose off, just gets to the ring, wants to get this done. Rollins comes out there's like, oh, I couldn't miss this. Punk finally comes out there, the Wise Man's out there, and he says, he just tells the story of CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Uh, uh Paul Heyman, a guy that believed in him back in the day, and when Paul got fired, before, was it ECW December to Dismember, Paul was like, no, you'll be fine, you got this. And then you fast forward to that a clip of from Monday Night Raw in what, like 2013, that's been going around. Paul Heyman said, you're my best friend, and I would like to one day, whenever it's time, walk you down the aisle when you main event WrestleMania. You fast forward all these years later, that's the favor. CM Punk says, for the main event of WrestleMania, in my corner is my best friend, your wise man, Paul Heyman. And Roman's just kind of laughing and just kind of, no, what? Wise man, tell him no. And then Heyman just begrudgingly says, I can't tell him no, sir. And then Roman just looks upset, confused, embarrassed, hurt, all in the same face. And if you, because I've been listening to Sam Roberts, shout out to Sam Roberts, pointed out a very good thing. I mean, Roman's wearing a different shirt, the another OTC shirt. He was wearing the YTC shirt when he was like, yeah, I'm your tribal chief, I'm for the people. But I mean, Roman is, I mean, he never really changed once he came back. But I mean, he's really just starting to feel like old Roman again. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Roman feeling like old Roman again, and what the favor is?
I mean, I think it did feel as though Roman was a little bit more like heelish in this segment, but they're in Chicago, so by proxy, CM Punk is going to be by far like the most popular person in that situation. The favor itself, we speculated what exactly that means. Do we even speculate? Maybe it's, just Paul Heyman being in his corner. But on the other hand, it's like, what exactly does that even mean? It's like, is it strictly just like a power play? Is it like he's giving CM Punk inside information on Roman Reigns? And then so like when Roman was laughing, I was like, oh, okay, he's kind of like how I feel. Like, oh, that's it. That's all you wanted. That's the favor. All right, you can take Paul Heyman, and you can have him for that one show. But no, he's then he said, then they went the direction they went, and so the segment itself on Friday was it was fine. Obviously all big three names in there, and then you could tell Rollins is like the third wheel in all this because when it was just him and Roman and Paul, everyone was chanting for CM Punk. And I'd cut to the chase. I think the segment on Monday I thought was better than what they did on Friday, just because the whole favor thing. Like, what exactly is that? Like, what does that favor even mean?
You mean, we know what it means. Roman had for the first time since WrestleMania 35. Roman Reigns has to walk into WrestleMania alone. No bloodline, no wise man. This is something. This is something. I mean, we saw he needs the wise man. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and maybe they do unpack that to where Paul Heyman is more necessary to Roman than maybe Roman leads on.
I mean, but just because like Punk has Paul, I don't think CM Punk's gonna win this match. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Punk's gonna win. It's either gonna be Roman or Seth.
Yeah. And I mean, even like if you go back to the dynamic Paul and Punk had back in 2013, 2012, it was always like they were equals. And
Yeah,
and Heyman and Reigns, Heyman's always like super subservient to Roman. And so it's like
look at
just
that.
on the
He
surface,
loves him.
it
That's his
feels yeah,
tribal
on
chief.
the surface it feels as like, oh, Roman does everything for Paul, and what does Paul actually do for Roman besides, just grovel at his feet?
I mean, but it's the stuff behind the scenes, the deals, and everything like that. But we'll see what goes on. I mean, what Roman got hit with a GTS, hell of a sell by the tribal chief.
Looking like Peter Griffin falling down the stairs.
Yeah, that meme has gone around. So there's that, and then Charlotte and Tiffany. Oh boy, oh boy. First off, they were dressed alike. Obviously, I believe this was playing into the Tiffany, she's the next Charlotte Flair. She looks like Charlotte. Blah 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 blah. Um, Yeah, this happened. This took a turn very quickly. Very quickly. What are your teas, bro? Where's Brian? Where's Brian Tronic? We need him here to discuss the Charlotte of it all.
Yeah. I mean, the segment itself, it was like awkward and like didn't flow well. And like, there's so many different aspects you can go down because like Charlotte, for whatever reason, who was like clearly the heel, I feel like in this situation, is getting overwhelmingly booed from the crowd. And Charlotte, like, seemingly is rattled by this. And it's like, how are you rattled by the crowd booing you? And like, you can't even get your words out and like do it, say what she had to say. And then it just obviously devolved into what it ended up happening. And I mean, you guys know me. I'm not the biggest Charlotte person in the world, and this is kind of like another piece of evidence for me. And she's what, like a 10-year vet, and she can't even handle the crowd booing her. And then this is like at least the third recent situation that has happened with Charlotte. We had the Becky situation with the belt swap. We had that little tussle she and Nia Jax had on like a Raw match or something, and now this one. So, behind the scenes shenanigans, which you always got to take with a grain of salt, is like people are not sympathetic to Charlotte in the situation. Now, Tiffany definitely has some blame as well in this, but it's like Charlotte's the veteran and should not go down to that level and be able to handle this.
But
And
I feel like this has kind of always been happened with the crowd. I mean, really, you think?
like Dominic and Logan Paul are able to handle a crowd reaction like that way better than Charlotte, and they've been
Well,
doing it.
I feel like Dominic is really like Dominic is like character heat. Like people don't act like aren't actually like, okay. Logan Paul, he's been impressive enough to where people were kind of like, yeah, no, all right. Charlotte, I feel like
She takes it too personally, I think. I think she feels that it's like an indictment on her as a person. I think that's
yeah,
why she gets flustered.
yeah, and I look at it like if they had if they were gonna have her be a face and win the Rumble, they should have just done the literally copy and paste from what Triple H went through. I mean, we see what Sean's doing down at NXT. He's taking bits and pieces of his career and throwing it on TV to kind of reenact for the kids to do down there. I mean, we shouldn't have seen Charlotte on yachts and stuff. We should have seen her in the gym rehabbing, even shown some clips of her like kind of like breaking down like from the rehab, like really build sympathy for this character. And then boom, she comes out to the Rumble and she's probably what final four. You may think she gets eliminated and then swoops back in for the final two, dumps somebody over the top rope and wins. I don't know. But you should have just literally copy and pasted what Hunter had to go through when he came back in 02 and won the Rumble. I feel like that things would have gone much differently for Charlotte because I mean they showed her on yachts. She came back, won the Rumble, and then they kind of still tried to make her a face, and that didn't really work.
Yeah, I mean I feel like she's never worked as a babyface.
No, I mean when in 2017 when Rick was almost died when Flair almost died, her dad, uh, that babyface run was decently successful.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't work, but I just feel like she's always been better
Well,
as a
no,
heel.
I no, absolutely. She is always far better when she is the queen. I'm better than you. I am royalty. I'm genetically superior. All that. She's always been. That's when she's at her best. But you know, yeah.
But she's
I,
always kind of been
I don't know, man. Because
that
like,
type of character, and she's never been like emotionally available. Even when, her father almost died and she was doing, that character, as you said, like it still wasn't that much different than her heel character.
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, because like, I mean, Ric Flair. I mean, you can argue top 10. You can even argue top 5 greatest heel of all time. When he was a babyface, he was a babyface. That's that's what makes Flair the greatest of all time because he could do both.
And Flair, when he was a face, was not really different than a heel. He just, maybe cheated a little bit less. And even when he did cheat, he was like, "Oh, that's that Ric Flair. He's a cheeky little bugger."
But like he still got a pop. It's and everything. I don't know. Did they just expect her to kind of be able to do that, be able to do both?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even going back to like that split screen interview thing they had, like obviously it didn't garner as much reaction as this one did, but I felt as though the same thing, like they were kind of stepping on each other's toes.
Well,
It was kind of awkward.
that's always kind of been like Charlotte. She's always stepped over and talked over her opponents. Like you go watch any feud, any interview. Like that's just the history of what she's been doing. But I mean, like Tiffany. I mean, she came with the. I don't. I mean, can you pinpoint exactly when this one took a turn? Because Tiffany came with the receipts. Like you were crying on TV earlier. You know that's why you
I mean, I think it really was just Charlotte like starting and stopping from the crowd reactions because like it like clearly
I
like shook her up, and I think she like either forgot her lines or like something happened to where like it wasn't going how it was supposed to, and then that's when kind of things went off the rails.
I think she should have just like paused the promo and be like, "Hey, let me talk to y'all. Like, I'm in this position, y'all. Regardless of what y'all think, y'all paying to see me. Y'all still gonna pay to watch WrestleMania to see me. You know, something like that, and then get back into it. But then, I mean, Tiffany brought up, you're on Sherry Shepherd show crying and what 0-3. I didn't realize she was married 3 times.
Yeah, and the other thing is like if you look into like at least I believe Charlotte's like first marriage, the reason they got divorced wasn't exactly, on the best of circumstances. So probably as a
And then
babyface
wasn't she was with Bram, right?
should
From
stay away
TNA?
from that. Yeah. And I
That was
think
the second one.
let's look up Charlotte's old Wikipedia page, 'cause that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, because I didn't realize she was married 3 times. I mean that's I mean Flair. I mean how many times has Rick been married? Like 6? Jesus.
And then also like the line of like drinking in your father's basement, like hasn't Charlotte like come out to like I don't know if she's like said she's an alcoholic or anything, but like obviously like with Ric Flair, like there has a connotation to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I have no idea. So what's the tally up on the marriages for Miss Flair?
let's see, do we have like a usually they have like a personal life thing on these ones, but they don't really have that. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Personal life.
there you go.
There we go. Let's see.
Dun, da, da, da. Da,
Let's see.
da,
From
da, da.
May 2010 to 13, she was married to Ricky Johnson. Um,
Okay.
uh, and obviously she has the one to Rick Flair or to Andrade. I'm trying to let's see.
She was with Bram briefly though, I remember. I assume that would be like in the 2014 to like 16, 17 era, right?
From 2013 to 2015, Flair was married to English wrestler Thomas Latmere, better known as Bram.
Exactly, which I'm I think I'm about to be at NWA with him this weekend, so that's going to be interesting.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. So that's 3. Um, it's unfortunate. And then I mean I think Tiffany was just trying to like she said that dropped the mic and was trying to leave. Flair Kaiser's in my DMs. I said, okay. Oh, we're doing this today.
Respectfully, I don't believe that, and I don't think
I
anybody will believe
mean,
that.
it was just a dig, but
I mean, it's one of those
it
things
didn't
where
get the
like
reaction like she thought it was gonna get, but people were like, oh, okay.
yeah, it's like one of those things like when a kid, like a little kid, like learns how to like talk crap for the first time, and they just like say things that has no meaning behind it. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Hey, I saw Kaiser commented on what did he comment on a Tiffy workout video? Hey, check your DMs or something like that. Like
Yep.
this guy loves a bit. Let's talk about KO, man. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, rumors dropped like hours or the day before Friday that KO was injured and the WrestleMania match was in jeopardy. And SmackDown, he came out. Nick Aldis was there as well. Introduced Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens just said, "Yeah, I have a neck issue. I need to get surgery. So I don't know when I'll be back, but I'm gone." And I think r- you know believably so, the crowd was not buying it because we've seen so many fake injuries or retirements before. So it's like okay, and especially with Kevin Owens, so there wasn't like any like reaction to it. They were just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then Randy came out and we're like, oh, okay, maybe we're gonna see an attack. Nope, just played it straight. Kevin had a heartfelt, sincere, send off. Randy came out, RKO'd Nick Aldis, and that was that. So, unfortunate for KO. He's going to be gone for seemingly like 6 months to a year. All signs point to it being, I mean, it's a neck injury, so it's serious, but it's not like career ending by any means. So it's not a Adam Cole or Page situation. So it sucks, but also on the brighter note that it seems as though it's not the end of his run.
Yeah. RKO Nick Aldis did Orton. I mean, he paid extra in 2023 after he RKO'd him the first time. I was like, oh, that's for the next time. And then here we are, long-term storytelling. Orton needs a WrestleMania opponent. Are they going to do a mystery opponent? Is it going to be Nick Aldis?
I mean,
I wouldn't
Nick
be mad
Aldis
at
does
it.
always look good in that suit. I just don't know if he's ring ready.
He's gotta stay ready. I mean, he was NWA champ for how long? That man's ready to go. That man got the boots. He brings his gear to every show. Just waiting. Just waiting. If you need me, let me know.
Yeah, Nick Aldis obviously like want to maybe build it up a little bit more, but I mean, if you needed like a break glass in case of emergency, Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania would be like a fun thing to see. So I don't know where they go, or if Randy decides to
You said break glass?
What? What?
What? What? Give me a bear. What? No, I don't think they'll do that. But yeah, you never know. I mean, one of these debuts that is supposed to be happening could be an open challenge. Could they do the whole Seth Cody thing from 38?
Rusev comes out and debuts against Randy Orton.
It's Rusev Day. He comes back with the tank.
I don't know if you can fit a tank into Allegiant Stadium, but they're building the
set
stage
as we
right now.
speak.
It looks
Yes.
looks like a big boy.
Oh, it's Vegas. They say everything's bigger in Texas. Jesus Christ, Vegas.
I hope they can incorporate the Al Davis torch, but I doubt they will.
We shall see. We shall see. Ray Phoenix finally debuted in WWE against Nathan Frazier. Big debut for one half of the Los Lucha Brothers. He said he's waited his whole life to say this. He is finally WWE.
Yeah, I mean, solid debut. What you'd expect from Ray Phoenix. A little
I mean,
clunky in spots.
brother, this Penta's debut, Ricky Saints coming over, winning. We're gonna talk about the title win. And then people chanting Tony fumbled like last week. Like this is.
I mean, I definitely think the Lucha Brothers could have been more in WWE, both individually and as a
In
tag team.
WWE.
Sorry, in AEW, whatever.
Yeah, no, I feel like didn't Penta have like a quick little like singles feud with Cody? Thought we were gonna do something.
Yeah, and going back to Mr. X's question, asking should they be kept apart? I think they should. I think you keep them on separate brands. Don't have them like interact at all. Maybe do something at the Royal Rumble, and then if you want to do like a tag match at WrestleMania and like kind of go down that direction,
They're both
cool.
in Money in the Bank.
But firmly establish both of them as their own thing before you reunite them in WWE.
They're both in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, and I mean when Penta debuted, Michael Cole was like, "Oh, this guy's unbelievable. You're not going to believe what you see." When that's not Penta. Penta is the charismatic luchador who is a fine wrestler, but that's not his style. Ray Phoenix is the one that's going to dazzle you with all the flippy flops and stuff like that.
I know he had to keep it kind of like tame for TV. I just can't like those house show matches. I know those are going to be fire.
And I mean, I wonder what. Like I said, Penta is the charismatic one. Phoenix is not, and we've seen how WWE has treated the flippy flop luchadors with Dragon Lee and Sin Cara and all those other guys back in the day.
I mean, we're going to talk about the greatest luchador they've ever had in a second. We're gonna talk about that guy in a second.
Even the charismatic ones that can speak pretty good English and Phantasma, he still is just like on SmackDown being. He's basically a manager now at this point.
Santos Escobar, yeah. Jacob Fatu, he qualifies for WrestleMania. He's going to face LA Knight one-on-one for the United States title, defeated Braun Strowman in the last man standing match.
Yeah, interesting booking decision because clearly they've been building this Fatu Braun Strowman thing, and then they blow it off on SmackDown, and then they go straight to a Fatu LA Knight match, which has like zero heat. Like they haven't really been building
he's been
up.
Talking about bringing the U.S. title to the family.
Yeah, but like for the most part, it hasn't really been an LA Knight Fatu thing. I mean, there was like that one point where like LA Knight like just cartoonishly pushed Jacob Fatu out of the building which was very weird why they did that in the first place. But long-term storytelling, as Philip will tell me.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we'll see what's going on with that. Inside the ring, Ricky Saints wins the NXT North American Championship last week. Rochambeau defeated Sean Spears, big celebration. Then Ethan Page comes out there, holds up the title. Then you fast forward to what happened on NXT this week is celebration. Ethan Page comes out there, Lexus King, Wes Lee, and Eddie Thorpe. So we're getting some sort of multi-man matches, stand and deliver.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought I saw something. I don't know if it's like a ladder match or something
No,
for
we're doing
stand
one
and
of those.
deliver.
We're doing one of those.
I don't know. Maybe, possibly. But yeah, Ricky Saints getting the win. Good for him. I'm not like really an NXT guy, so I don't really watch it, but if something
Why
comes across
not?
my feed, I'll see it. Just there's so much stuff going on. I only have so much capacity to watch things. And Ricky Saints, he hasn't like I feel as though he hasn't like lit the world on fire by any means, but he's just kind of doing like solid stuff in NXT. So I guess jury's still out if he can be a difference maker in NXT and or WWE. But this is a good first step.
Well, he came in and won a title pretty fast. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. We shall see. What's up with Mama Muscle and Jada Parker, bro?
I don't know. They don't call it suicide dive for a reason.
They don't call it what?
What? Well, I was talking about Jordan Grace. Mount Muscle did her little suicide dive and she came up a little short on Tuesday.
I wasn't even talking about that. I mean, what's going on? What's going on with that? Getting in business. That should be Miss Parker's.
Well, sorry about it. Ladder
No.
match is for the women's North American Championship match because despite Stephanie Fakir defending both titles, the all-knowing, powerful, gorgeous, all-knowing Ava
Ava.
um, said, "Yeah, we can't have that. So you have to relinquish one of those titles, even though you've already defended both those titles."
Yeah, I mean, this happened to Keith Lee. This ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
This ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. Speaking of titles being relinquished, gone, whatever, etc., the Teenage Digital Media Championship has been retired, and a new TNA International Championship will debut at some point. I believe for Rebellion later on this month in LA.
So I guess like that whole thing with PCO to close out the GCW show, that was like legit. He just like started bashing it with the hammer or a chair, whatever it was, and he was gone for the company.
Yeah,
Cool.
that happened. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Monday Night Raw, Jay and Gunther segment. Jay walks out there all black, no yeet. Just straight to the point. Lets him know that, hey man, like I watched you violate my twin. I'm not scared of you no more. I pray I'm praying to God to kind of heal me for the man I'm about to become and what I'm gonna do to you at WrestleMania. Well, Gunther's just standing there in his bright suit.
Looking
Yeah.
like Pee Wee Herman.
That guy looked like he was ready for a Republican National Convention.
Oh, he's ready for a shift to the Krusty Krab.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jay, I thought the promo from Jay was good. I think serious Jay, without having to do
Bro,
like the whole catchphrases stuff is good.
Crash Out Jay is back.
But once again, I don't think it's a good look for Jay that he's cutting the super serious revenge promo in front of Gunther, and the entire time the crowd is yeeting after every pause he has in his promo.
That's just the power of the yeet, man.
I mean, I just feel as though if you're trying to get some emotional resonance, like yeah, get at your system if you need to do it a little bit, but they just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. Like, come on, guys, can we read the room here?
Yeah.
There's a time to eat and a time not to eat.
And this was not the time to eat. Moving on from that, Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins have a promo together. Rollins talks about how, Roman Reigns doesn't give a damn about you. He left you. He watched you get power bombed. He was nowhere to be found. Uh Rollins just, starts taking just starts talking trash to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman steps up like, "Don't you put your hands on me." And then what you call it? Is that like Roman's not here, Punk's not here. Then he starts to assault Mr. Heyman, and Punk comes out there for the save and gets curb stomped. And Heyman's checking on Punk. Rollins looks like he's about to stomp Heyman. Then he stops, picks up the mic, and says, "Now you owe me a favor." Which that's not really how favors work, but okay.
Well, So I thought I enjoyed this segment, I think, quite a bit more than the SmackDown one, just because it was kind of building off of what they laid the foundation for on SmackDown. And as much as I wish it was a one-on-one Punk Roman match, Seth is solid when he's like not involved with like the other people because, like I said, they don't really care about what Seth has to say because they just want to hear what Punk and Roman have to say. But the dynamic between him and Paul I thought was good, and I think Rollins kind of laid out like kind of he almost like laid out Punk's reasoning for him, or like at least what Paul Heyman's mind is going through in this segment here. So I thought that was good, and then Punk gets involved, we get a little physicality there. So um, yeah, finally we're getting some like actual story into this feud where for a majority of it was just like three big stars wrestling, and then now we're finally like getting somewhere with Paul Heyman stuck in the middle.
Absolutely, absolutely. The women's triple threat has officially been announced. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Bloody Ripley for the WWE Women's World Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, once again, like I feel like I keep repeating myself, but it's like Rhea and Bianca yell at each other. Neither one of them come across as likable, and then they both shove Io to the side. I mean, Rhea literally did that again to Io, and I just don't understand why they keep falling back on that as like a gimmick.
It's okay. Io's walking out of WrestleMania the champ, bro.
Yeah, and then Io, like this is helping Io immensely because everyone feels sympathetic towards her, and she's like the only likable person in this entire feud.
I like
And
Bianca. What are you talking about, bro?
well, I mean, I like Bianca's one thing, but Rhea definitely, she has not been likable, I feel like, in this feud. Like Bianca's just kind of there and like, doing her own thing because she earned the title shot, and then Rhea's just kind of forcing her way in, literally pushing Io to the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Adam Pierce. Io Sky came out wearing those shorts and apparently is all flabbergasted and flustered that he said that Rhea Ripley was representing the Judgment Day still.
I mean, once the judgment,
Respectfully.
it's like president. Once the president, always the president. Once Judgment Day, always the Judgment Day.
Yep.
Yeah. We have an IC title fatal four-way: Penta versus Dom versus Finn versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker annihilated Carlito. Jesus Christ.
I
That
don't
was
even know if like that was on purpose or if that was a planned thing, but good lord.
that 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 was a spear, brother. That was a spear, brother.
And that's why I will always state that at least until Braun Breaker came around, Goldberg was the best because he actually looked like he was a powerful person tackling and spearing someone. And Braun Breaker is, I think, he's coming for that crown. If not, already taken it.
For what?
The best spear.
I for the longest time I preached Adam Cope for having the best spear just because of the psychology or whatever. But I don't know. My man Roman has thrown some pretty gnarly spears, man.
Before way, it's kind of what they've built to. We're doing something with Dom and Finn. Are we gonna
Dirty
finally get
Dom walking out the champ
I don't know. And one of these days, I don't know when it'll be. I think Dominic will be a pretty good babyface. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I don't think it should happen like in the near future, but I think we're on the verge of that. I think it could be something fun.
Well, let's talk about Dominic's daddy, Rey Mysterio. He is going up against the hottest luchador on the planet, El Grande Americano at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, sad for Chad Gable. Unfortunately, missed out another WrestleMania opportunity. But yeah, Grande Americano, he's just lighting the world up on fire. And Ray, another WrestleMania match for him. So you don't know how many more of these we're gonna have of him. So it's a fun little mid card match that I think the crowd is gonna kind of ironically get involved getting into. So it should be fun
Absolutely. I was watching Rey's was first Mania match last night, 19 with Matt Hardy, cruiserweight title.
in the
Matt,
Daredevil outfit.
yeah, yeah. That. Anyway, AEW happened. Talk about it.
Yep. Once again, if you haven't, go listen to Under the Radar episode 100 if you want my full takedown on Dynasty and what I thought about all the matches. Opening segment was kind of a bunch of segments all pulled into one. John Moxley cut a promo with the Death Riders, basically like disavowing the Young Bucks, saying like he has nothing to do with the Young Bucks. And then Moxley had a match with Shibata. He wins. Then the Young Bucks come out. They try to hold a truce to Moxley. Moxley doesn't want to do anything with that. So he walks away. Then the Young Bucks, they do a little promo. Then Kenny Omega comes out. And so he cuts a promo on the Young Bucks talking about how the last time they were here, they, almost tried to kill him by tilting him over with the on the stretcher. And then Kenny just kind of went on and like cut a promo, and it was very awkward, and like he stammered a little bit. They were talking about the documents that the Young Bucks were shredding when they left AEW, and Kenny made a cuckold joke about one of the Young Bucks, saying that they bought a chair to face the master bedroom bed. Um, I don't know. He also made an analogy to the Young Bucks about two Shih Tzus pooping on the floor. So yeah, I once again, you look at Kenny Omega, even the promos Kenny Omega cut about Gabe Kidd on the way to Wrestle Dynasty was fantastic, and yet we're getting these types of promos with Kenny. I don't know what's going on. And then Swerve comes out, and he just had his butt cutting season, and fast forward, Swerve has a match with Pac. Pac unfortunately gets injured. Don't know yet the severity of it, but it does not look good. Something with the foot or ankle. Hopefully it's like a bone thing and not like a tendon thing, but he's getting an MRI today. So we'll probably get some news on that by the time you listen to this. So it looks as though we are heading towards a blood and guts match with Swerve and the Ops taking on like the Young Bucks. It's probably Swerve, Kenny Omega, and the Ops taking on, some sort of collaboration of the Young Bucks, Okada, and the Death Riders. Her Syndicate had a celebration coming off their tag title win. They, celebrated a little bit. It wasn't anything special. MJF comes out. He once again tries to get in the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley is not a fan. They do another promo backstage later on the show with Alicia Atut. And Shelton told MVP that he's going to try to talk to Lashley about possibly getting MJF in the fold. So who knows where that's going to go. The lone Owen Hart Cup match was on the women's side where Chris Statlander defeated Thunder Rosa. Tony Storm was on commentary. So, moving on with that. Megan Bayne also had a promo, so clearly they're not going to move on from Megan Bayne and Tony Storm. Probably have a rematch at Double or Nothing. Chris Jericho had a TV time segment where he called out the Redwood and the Bad Apple, just kind of try to motivate them and like yell at them because everyone lost. So nobody on the learning tree had a championship. And then Chris Jericho crashes out and then says he's leaving. So what does that mean? Is Jericho gone for a long time? Is the, Redwood and Bad Apple going to have something, to do in the meantime and impress Jericho? Is Jericho going to come back a completely new person? No clue. Phillip, you want me talking Chris Jericho on this podcast, so we're talking Chris Jericho. What's going to happen to your boy? Is he going to come back refreshed and new, or is just a way for him to get off television so people don't hate him as much?
He's gonna save AEW.
All right, there you go.
The code's gonna be broken. Come on, you know I got you. Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't use that song, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. There's some other matches. There was like the 4-on-4, $400,000 match, which was fine. Main event was what was the main event? I've already forgotten. The Ops.
How do you forget the main event, bro?
Because I'm terrible. The Ops taking on the Death Riders. Hook gets the win over Wheeler Yuta and another beatdown, and then Samoa Joe cuts a promo saying that they are coming for the trios titles. So who knows what's going to happen with Pac and his injury? So maybe John Moxley steps in and is like the third member of the Death Riders, and he gets a trios title as well as a world title. So that was AEW. Nothing too special. Obviously, kind of
Why not?
recapping a little bit of Dynasty, laying the groundwork for Double or Nothing coming up in like 6-7 weeks. Blood and Guts seems to be on the horizon.
They still do that.
Yep, Blood and Guts seemingly on the horizon. They don't do that at Double or Nothing. They usually do it like right afterwards. So I wonder. Usually they do Anarchy in the arena, but I believe Swerve straight up said Blood and Guts, so maybe they do Blood and Guts at Double or Nothing. But
He's a part of Blood and Guts, huh?
But yeah, also, some storyline stuff with Hangman going after Nana. So I think it's I think
Look
it's gonna
what you
be
done started.
Swerve and Hangman taking on the Young Bucks. Maybe at Texas or somewhere between
This ain't Texas.
between now and in early July. So that's about it.
That's AEW, huh?
That's AEW for you guys. We'll be here next week. Even WrestleMania weekend, we'll talk about AEW.
Will we?
Well, I will. Like normal.
I don't.
Yeah.
The episode's gonna be out, bro.
Well,
It'll
that's
be out
tough
before
luck.
then.
Damn.
This
Maybe Under the Radar episode 101.
I mean, this gonna be the biggest. This the biggest weekend in wrestling. I'm gonna be busy. Oh man, thank y'all so much. Next week, we're gonna be back here. We're gonna talk about wrestling. We're gonna talk about WrestleMania. It's all gonna be made official. As Adam Pierce would say. Thank y'all so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.